Hey Reader fam, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do something a little different. I have hit 1,000 subscribers, so to celebrate I'm going to do a 1K Q&A along with the BookTube Newbie Tag because I never actually did it and I kind of want to introduce you guys to who I am because I realize I talk about books a whole ton but not really a lot about myself, so today I hope you get to know me better, so stick around. If you haven't already, please subscribe because I post lots of new content. Hopefully going forward, I'm gonna start posting about 2 videos a week going into 2021. And I have a lot of cool things planned, so please subscribe. Also make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you don't already. The links are down below. So with that all over with, let's get right into the video. First things first, why did I start this channel? I started this channel back in 2016, oh my god, when I was in high school. I started a book club in high school and it died, and so I felt like I needed people to talk with about books because books have always been such a constant in my life that I've loved, and I love sharing my thoughts and feelings with people, and so I was like, what's the best way to do that than just scream about it on the internet? What are some fun and unique things that I can bring to BookTube? God, I have no idea. Like, myself, I hope I'm fun and unique enough to stand out in a way. I don't know, I'm not trying to like do anything radically different. I just want a place to talk about my books. What am I most excited about for my channel? Just going forward, I think I have a lot of really interesting and cool ideas for videos that I cannot wait to share with you guys, and also just articulating my thoughts in a way that I can then go back and look about like how I felt about a book, because I read so many books that sometimes it's hard for me to remember exactly what I felt about a book at the time, like right after I read it. So hopefully going forward, I'm gonna start doing a book review for pretty much every single book that I read, and I'll post it on the channel so that I can have like a video record to go back and look at that. Why do I love reading? I love reading because it gives me a chance to just explore new worlds completely. Like, I am a very visual reader, so I put myself wholly into the story. Also, I'm a very empathetic person, and so when I'm reading a character, I really like put myself into their point of view, and so like reading books feels way more epic than like watching a movie or TV show like will ever feel, just because I'm like so emotionally invested because I feel like I'm there. What book or series got me into reading? So unfortunately, the series that first got me into reading was the Harry Potter series. I fucking hate J.K. Rowling now, and my channel is a safe space for all trans individuals, and yeah, fuck her. However, those stories did inspire me a lot when I was a kid. My mom actually read them to me before I went to bed every night. So I'm grateful for what they did for me. However, I moved on to much better series like the Percy Jackson series, and then I went like almost immediately into Stephen King, which is probably too inappropriate for a kid in 6th grade, but you know, I turned out all right. What questions would I ask of my favorite booktubers? I would just ask them like how they got a foothold in the community, because I just kind of do what I do, and obviously I want to grow my channel and make it better. So if you guys have any ideas about how to help grow this channel, let me know. I honestly don't know. I just love books and hope that's enough to get people to come here. What challenges do I think starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? So back when I first started this channel 4 years ago, I was very camera shy and rambly and very young. I am a lot older now, and I have gotten more used to cameras and the such. And I don't know, it's been kind of strange having a 4-year hiatus. I really enjoyed the videos that I was posting like so long ago. And I felt like if I actually kept up my momentum, then who knows where the channel would be now. But so I do regret that, but at the same time, I really enjoy this year, because this year has let me come back to the community in the best way, and I just feel like I am at a place in my life where I can really devote myself to this channel and give you guys good content, and I have time to read all the things that I want to. So when did I start reading? So I was about 3, and my mom would read me this Nightmare Before Christmas storybook every night before bed. And at one point I just was like, no, because she was taking too long to read it. So I was like, no, I'm going to read. And so then I started reading it for her, and my parents were both shocked. They were like, oh my God, he's reading. Let's see, where do I read? I read everywhere. I read in bed, I read in my beanbag, I read on the floor, I read while I travel. If I have the book on my phone, sometimes I'll read it like in between doing stuff. Like if I'm like waiting in line in the grocery store, sometimes like I'm always reading. So yeah, I never stop, and it's kind of annoying, but like I love it. And what kind of books do I like to read? I like all kinds of books. I think my favorite is like fantasy to read, like fantasy sci-fi. I personally love horror. I am a horror writer. I love watching horror movies. And there are a lot of good horror books out there, except it's weird. I have to be like in the mood to read a horror book, whereas like I'm always in the mood to like read a fantasy. Okay, now's the most exciting part. We get to get into your guys' questions. So I asked you guys over on my Bookstagram and my Twitter to drop me some questions, and the links for those accounts are down below. And let's get into those. So the first question is, what is my favorite anime? I love anime, and honestly, the one that has stayed with me the most is Assassination Classroom. It's this weird as hell story about like these kids who are being trained by the government to kill their teacher, who is a like octopus creature from another world, and it's so good. Basically he like is training them to like murder him, but then he's also like being very wholesome and like helping them with all the subjects that they're like struggling with. And it's just a phenomenal anime. The manga is amazing too. What's my favorite manga? So I would have said Assassination Classroom. However, I've been reading the series recently that has kind of just become everything. It's called To Your Eternity, and it's just absolutely beautiful, and they're making an anime that's coming out next year, so I'm very excited for that, and I hope that more people enjoy it as much as I do, because it's absolutely wonderful, and I love it so much. Now that you've finished Rhythm of War and Black Sun, have you read Gideon the Ninth yet? No, I have not. I really want to. That's one of those books that's always been on my TBR, and maybe I'll get around to it in 2021. What made me start a BookTube channel? Congrats on 1K. Like I said, it's just because I love reading so much, and I was just inspired, and I really wanted to talk about it. How are you? After the year we've had, I can say that I'm okay. 2020 has truly been a shit year, but I've been really grateful for a lot of the things I've had come out of it, surprisingly enough. So I'm okay. How do you manage your time with reading, family, friends, and anything else? It's a balance for sure. I see my family when I go home to visit them. I see my friends when I can. But like when I'm by myself, like I am an introvert, extrovert, an ambivert, I think is what it's called. Like I love spending time with people and being very kind of like energetic and stuff, but then I need a lot of moments where I just am kind of sitting by myself and recharging and reading, or like playing some video games or something like that, where I can just like check in with me, you know. How do I stay motivated? Honestly, it's hard to tell sometimes, because I just have so many things going on, and I just kind of want to curl up in a ball and not do anything. And I just kind of have to remind myself that I'm really grateful for a lot of the things in my life, and it's up to me to change those and make them better. So I try to keep myself motivated by beating myself up mentally, I guess. What are good books for readers getting into fantasy? So I'm actually going to do a fantasy book recommendations video pretty soon, but at the top of the list for me, I think getting into fantasy, for me it was Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. Mistborn is just so easy to get into. It's so enthralling, so epic, and just it's perfect. However, if maybe that intimidates you and you're not ready for something that big, even if it is kind of a starter one, I would say. I would highly recommend the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. They kind of, beyond Harry Potter, they really inspired me as a kid to just get into loving magic and fantasy worlds and things like that, so you can't go wrong with that. And there's amazing YA authors working today who are just constantly like coming out with these amazing YA fantasies, so pretty much you have so many options to choose from if you want like a really good fantasy introduction. I'm sure there's lists out there, but I'll do a video recommendations soon. But yes, favorite pizza topping. I'm really basic. I like pepperoni. I also like mushroom. And sometimes if you give me like an everything pizza and there's like just a bunch of stuff on it, love that. However, I discovered last year that I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't have pizza as much as I want anymore unless it has like lactose-free cheese, which sucks. But yeah, I still love pizza. What is the most optimal pasta shape? I would have to say either rigatoni or like the bow ties. I don't know why, the bow ties are just so cute. Tips for someone wanting to start a YouTube. Here's the thing, when I first started out, I did not have a good camera like I do now. I had a shitty camcorder, and you know, it doesn't matter as long as you have a phone. If you have anything to just like film yourself, you don't need a good mic, you don't need good lighting, you just need you. So if you are passionate and want to talk about books, just start filming yourself, because if there is an audience out there for you, there's always an audience that is going to be willing to listen to your thoughts and ideas, so just do it. What is one book that will always be on the top list for you? Y'all already know, it's The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. It's just flat out one of the best books I've ever read, and it just holds a special place in my heart. What do you think is the main difference between BookTube when you first started and now? So when I first started like 4 years ago, there was just a lot of like spoiler talks and discussions, and I'm not really seeing that anymore. So I'm gonna bring that back because that was one of my favorite parts about doing videos back then, is like having a review be half non-spoiler and then the other half be spoiler. I do enjoy wrap-ups, and I do enjoy watching wrap-ups and making them. However, I really just love getting in depth into a book's themes and characters and stuff, and so I want more videos like that, because I just remember a lot of the videos back then were like all about that. Also, back then there was a lot of like really fun like tags and games and challenges, and I think we're just at a point where like most of them have already been done so we're not seeing those types of videos anymore. But like I kind of want to film some because I missed out on it because I took a 4-year hiatus. What's my least favorite genre? So I enjoy pretty much all the genres. I will have to say I'm not a fan most of the time of just romances. Like if you give me a romance, like I want there to be a little something else. I want there to be like political intrigue or like some sci-fi bullshit or like kings and queens, or like I want there to be like more than just like two people like meeting. With that being said, like I mean, two people meeting can be a wonderful story if told correctly. It's just I don't know, I just kind of crave more from my stories. However, sometimes simple is good. So it just really depends on the execution more than anything. And I've read enough books that I don't really judge based on genre or just concept alone. Like I actually like reading the book and then judging it for what it is. And sometimes I've been really pleasantly surprised, and then sometimes I've been super disappointed. So it just really depends. Favorite fantasy book of all time, I'm gonna say again, it's Brandon Sanderson, Way of Kings. I have a whole video talking about my rant, so watch that. Are you studying right now? If yes, what? So I am a student at Loyola Marymount University, and it is my, or going into my last semester. So, oh, and I'm a screenwriter. I write for a living. Well, hopefully for a living, eventually. I do want to start, or I have started turning some of my scripts into prose, because originally when I was a kid I wanted to be an author really badly. I wrote many unfinished manuscripts. So writing scripts has been great. I love it. And actually it works out really well as a very extremely detailed outline for novels. So I've started to turn some of my scripts into novels with the basis kind of already been done, like all the work of the characters and a lot of the dialogue already finished. Now I just need to add like the detailed descriptions and prose that I wasn't able to in the script form. Favorite song right now. So I've been listening to a lot of K-pop recently, and the one that like anytime it comes on I just bop out so hard is Wishlist by TXT. That song is so good and it just makes me happy every time I hear it. So if you haven't heard it, go listen because it's wonderful. What trope would I be? You know, okay, I'm a little sneaky, so I would definitely be the so you know the like one bed trope where it's like in a romance like there's only one bed and they're like forced to share. So I would be like the one, except let's like say it's like on a camping trip or something, I'd be the one who like packed all the materials and then like conveniently only packed like one sleeping bag, because you know sometimes fate just needs a little push. What is your favorite book quote? So is it any surprise that it's from the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson? Because it's not to me. So this quote just means so much to me and resonated at such an important moment in my life when I read it. And that is from Oathbringer, when we get the quote, "Accept the pain, but don't accept that you deserved it." You know, life isn't always easy sometimes, and sometimes it's very easy to think that we deserve the things that are dealt to us or that happen to us. And this book just really reminded me that, you know, sometimes the world is a scary place and you can't stop the things that happen to you, but that doesn't mean you can't live on and go past it. So yeah, definitely my favorite book quote ever. What are some of my favorite book, library, reading, childhood memories? So I'm gonna have to say that the librarian at my elementary school was such a G, because he was just so sweet and wonderful. I was in kindergarten and I started mass checking out books, specifically the Goosebumps books, because I was a horror fiend, still am. The limit for checking out books was 2, and he let me check out 6 because I would always return at least 2 of them like the next day, because all I would do was read. Like I would literally ignore some of the kids and just sit like on the wall, like curled up and just like reading my book. Yeah, I turned out okay, I'm fine. So that's it for my Q&A. Those are all the questions that you guys had for me. And I would just like to thank you guys once again for 1,000 subscribers. It is ridiculous to me that 1,000 of you guys have chosen to stick around for my crazy ass. And I just love you guys so, so much. And I can't wait for our little reader fam to get bigger and bigger. And I also just cannot wait to show you all the things that I have planned, because I think that you guys are gonna like it. So if you like this video, my answers to your questions, please leave a like. Comment below if you have any other questions. Like, I'll try to answer some more questions in the comments if, you know, a question that you had for me didn't get answered or wasn't asked. Go ahead and ask down below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and share this video with some friends if you want. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. I love you. Bye.